to Inside the Boca Raton Bowl. I'm Paige Kornblue. This is one of ESPN owned and operated bowl games, and we like to jump into the Boca Raton Bowl and talk about bowl games in general, just to take you a little bit behind the scenes of our game and all of the bowl games across the country. Bowl season, in our opinion, is the best season. Today we're going to talk leadership, vision, the kind of energy that comes when someone takes the reins and makes history right out of the gate. My guest is Zach Kittley, Florida Atlantic University's Hagerty family head football coach, known for his innovative offensive mind, his fast-paced style of play, his ability to connect with his players on and off the field. And, you know, before becoming a head football coach, Zach made his mark coaching some of the game's biggest names. You're going to know some of these, including Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech and Bailey Zappe, who broke NCAA passing records under his guidance at Western Kentucky and in the 2021 Boca Raton Bowl. So we're proud to say that, and I'm proud to have my guest, Coach Zach Kittley, on Inside the Boca Raton Bowl. Yeah,
thank you so much for having me. This is great.
What a game that was. 2021, it's hard to not start right there.
Yeah, I mean, what a whole day, what a whole week. I mean, just the whole experience of the week and just all the events we were able to go to, and just the hospitality we were given by the bowl crew and everybody that's involved. I mean, it was just a tremendous week, 5 days or so here, and I loved every minute of it. Fell in love with Boca, first time here for 5 days, and you know, I go back to the word hospitality. The hospitality was just great, and then the game was awesome. You know, we were able to have a really exciting game and a high-scoring game on both sides of the ball. And you mentioned some records being broken, which made it even better.
We're going to get into that story specifically in just a bit, but I appreciate, you know, all hearing about what you remember of the Boca Raton Bowl. Was it just, you know, hearing the news, you were heading down to South Florida, the palm trees, the beach, and football all together in one?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you know, first off, it's always good to play in great weather for a bowl game, and there's no greater weather than being down here in Boca in December, and so that was always nice. And again, you know, you hear everything about Boca Raton before if you've never visited here, you just hear, hey, it's, you know, the people are great, the weather's great, but you never really know until you get to experience it yourself. And so, being able to come down here, like I said, for about 5 days and experience, you know, just the hospitality of the everyone involved with the bowl game, and then clearly, you know, getting to the actual bowl itself. It's just a whole great week in general.
List some of the other games you've been a part of.
Yeah, I started my bowl. I got to play in the Holiday Bowl. Got to play in 2 different Texas bowls, the Birmingham Bowl, Independence Bowl. So yeah, I've been able to play in quite a few bowl games and had some fun at those as well. But you know, for me personally, you know, this one, the Boca Raton Bowl really strikes home for me. Just special day with being able to cap off my career there at Western Kentucky and see Bailey Zappe break a couple NCAA records that'll probably never be broken again, and that'll forever be stamped right there in Flagler Credit Union Stadium.
Yes, love that. Overall, your bowl experience, like when you look at, I mean, we deal with the right now 12-game, you know, football playoff, but in terms of the bowl experience, no matter what, a team being able to get to a bowl game, what does that mean to a team, players, coaches?
It means so much. I mean, it's a reward for all your hard work that you've put in from January all the way to December, and I think that gets lost in the shuffle sometimes, especially in you know, today's day and age with the transfer portal and the NIL, where people are talking about you know A, B, and C, they're opting out of their bowl games and all that. But even if those guys do opt out, it's an opportunity for younger players that maybe haven't got to play yet to showcase their skills in front of a national audience. And so we got to keep the bowl games going. Bowl games are one of the best parts about college football. They always have been, and they always will be in my mind. Because again, it's a reward for you know, the coaches, the staff, but more importantly, the players that have put all that work in all year long to be able to earn an opportunity to go spend a week at a place and enjoy not just the football, but just a new community, a new group of people, and, you know, a lot of times being able to play an unfamiliar opponent that you maybe never get to play before.
Well, congratulations on your new role. What's your main message for folks out there? Meet Coach Kittley, right?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I'm excited to be here. Just grateful for the opportunity. I mean, I got to talk to my team last night about just how grateful I am to be in this situation, to be able to be a leader of young men, and just to impact so many lives. I mean, that's the calling for me for coaching, and just grateful to be in a great community like this too, Boca Raton and Florida Atlantic University as a whole. So just extremely grateful and honored to be the Hagerty family head football coach here, and just looking forward to seeing what we can do.
What was it about this program, this university, this area that drew you here and it felt right for you and your family?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I think I'm a young guy, really young in this profession. Hopefully, got a lot of years ahead of me here. And me and my wife Emily, we kind of thought that this was coming at some point, an opportunity to be a head football coach. But we weren't just going to jump at just whatever opportunity. So it had to be the right one. And FAU is one of those ones that we kind of knew would be a good one if it ever arose. I kind of joke with some few of the coaches that are here with me now that were on that tree with me, that were hopping on the plane wherever we were going to go. And when this one kind of came open, we were like, man, that's the one right there. We probably won't get that one, but that's the one right there. And so, but ultimately it starts with leadership from the top down, and you got to have people that run the university, that believe in the athletics department, that are going to buy into what you're doing, what you're selling, and that truly believe in athletics and college football as a whole. And so right away when I got to talk to our athletics director, Brian White, I could see his vision, his passion, his understanding what a top tier football program can do, not just for the athletics department, but for the university as a whole. I knew this was going to be a slam dunk. And, I did get to spend about a week here in 2021 at the Boca Bowl. And so got to be around the community, got to be around the city, and it's beautiful. I fell in love with it right away, even in 2021. And whenever this one happened, it was a no-brainer.
What did you love about being in that game? You mentioned the Boca Raton Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, just this, the whole week just leading up to it. I mean, this place is beautiful, as everybody knows. Everybody calls this paradise because it truly is. I mean, you're down here in December and it's 75 degrees and just unbelievable weather every day, and very nice people that we have to spend our time with. And then, that's an extremely special day for me, just in particular because Bailey Zappe was able to break the NCAA records for passing touchdowns and passing yards in a season that'll probably never be broken ever again. And then just being able to cap that season off with a big win against App State in that bowl game. So just a great week in general, and then a great day that game day.
Being coach there on the field, take us through the emotions of that as you saw probably the stats climbing and knowing, oh my goodness, take us to that moment.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'd actually previously already accepted the job at Texas Tech to be their offensive coordinator. And, Tyson Helton, the head football coach at Western Kentucky, was graciously, willing to let me come back and coach that bowl game, because that was something that I kind of agreed on both sides before I took that Texas Tech job, that I wanted to do that. I'd spent 4 years with Bailey Zappe at that point, and him and I are extremely, extremely close. And so we knew it was going to happen if we got to just get to that game. And so going into it, we knew we were going to do whatever it took to get that record, and it really wasn't that hard. I mean, you just put the ball in number 4's hands right there and let him go. So it's kind of surreal looking back on it, and I just remember him throwing the touchdown to break Joe Burrow's record, and all I remember screaming, I saw our receiver toss the ball to the ref, and I'm screaming, "Get the ball, get the ball, get the ball," because I wanted him to have that as a souvenir. And there's just those moments that I just remember of the game, just because those are memories you'll have for a lifetime that you'll never forget.
What do you love about Bailey's work ethic? And, I guess when you think of Bailey Zappe, what do you think of right away?
Yeah, toughness. That's number one. I mean, I coached the young man for 4 years, and he never missed one football game for me in 4 years. And he battled some injuries. He got hit a lot, especially that first year. I didn't do a great job as a play caller protecting him at times, and he never flinched. He's extremely tough. He's a leader. He loves football. He's a great teammate. All those things are what I think of when I think of him. And again, him and I are extremely close. Just was talking to him 2 days ago. I got to officiate his wedding, and I'm not a preacher by any means, but just that's kind of the relationship we have, where I love him, he loves me, and we're part of each other's journey, and forever will be. And so I'm always, I'm indebted to him, and just love that guy.
So you do weddings too. This is good to know. My goodness.
Yeah. Well, I say I do. I've done one wedding, and it was a blast. If I ever get the honor to do it again, and if it's an ex-player that would like me to do that, I mean, again, I'm all about that. So if I have to do it again, I'll do it again.
It's so special. Another name that a lot of people, when they're saying Coach Kittley, we talk about Patrick Mahomes. I guess when you think of Patrick, what comes to your mind with him?
Yeah, I mean, just greatest leader I've ever been around. And I mean, it started at 18 years old. I mean, he just had that aura about him that it doesn't matter what situation you're in. You got Pat behind you, and let's go win the game. I mean, he's the most positive player I've ever been around. He's always positive, always upbeat, no matter if he's just thrown 3 interceptions and we're down 21 points. I mean, he always just had that characteristic of just mental toughness and leadership. And that's kind of where I got a saying that I say now: the team goes as we go at the quarterback position. And I kind of molded that based off of him, because he was just always that guy that I felt like no matter what situation you were in, you had Pat there, and Pat could go get it done for you no matter what. And so it's really cool now, looking at him. I think he's going on year 9 in the NFL this year now, and seeing, he's the best football player on the planet and the number 1 most recognizable player, in the world. And, me being there those first few years where he was just a young kid trying to figure out the game and get to the speed of college football. But I saw the work that he put in on a daily basis, and we spent, just countless hours together. And so it's been really fun for me just over the last 9 years now, watching him do his thing in the NFL, that everybody there that was with us at Texas Tech at the time, we all knew it was going to happen.
So pivotal, our high school coaches, our college coaches, and you were able to do that for these guys that so many of us know now, and you're doing it at FAU. How do you take those stories and kind of instill them in the players now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is the proof's in the pudding. I mean, you get to watch, and I can sit there and I can tell stories about seeing Bailey Zappe, seeing Patrick Mahomes, seeing Davis Webb, seeing these guys on a daily basis, and see how they went to work, how they studied the game plan, how they worked in the academics, how they worked in the training room, how they worked in the weight room, all those things. So I've been there, I've seen that, I've done that. And so when you're talking about showing guys that want to be where they're at, to me, it's easy for me to just say it. I'm not too far. I'm 34 now, but I'm not too far away from where they've been. And so I think that a little bit of that part resonates with them. But I just think, our guys are hungry here too. And I think whenever you're able to say, I'm extremely blessed to be able to tell everybody that I was able to coach Patrick Mahomes for 3 years, and that's the best player on the planet. So I feel like I got a little skin in the game there. And I think just because, you're able to be around a guy like Patrick Mahomes, that, your word goes a longer way.
You mentioned it, 34, and I must say this is the celebratory episode because happy birthday. Today is the day.
Yeah, thank you, yes.
Cheers.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
Heading into the season on a good day here and a good note. The youngest head football coach in Division I FBS, correct?
That's correct.
That's correct. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I don't really think a whole lot of it, to be honest with you. I mean, this has always been a goal of mine. As a really good friend and mentor of mine who is our chief of staff at Texas Tech, his name's Kenny Bell. He actually texted me today just saying happy birthday and all that, and I always revert back to him looking at me. I had to save something on a hard drive for him at one point, and he looked at my hard drive and he saw it said future head coach. I had a folder that said future head coach. And this is always something I wanted to do, that I believed if I worked hard enough, was surrounded by the right people, that I could get there. And, him and I just kind of hit back on that today a little bit. And it's just cool kind of to look back and think about kind of where I'm at right now. It's clearly I'm honored to be here and to be the youngest coach, in the country. It's cool to say that, I guess. But I really don't think about it either at the same time. I just feel like I'm just like everybody else. I'm normal, and I'm a football coach, and excited to be here.
I thought it was neat in the Palm Beach Post that they mentioned you were in elementary school when the FAU program started.
Yes.
And, but now in its 25th year, and look at you at the helm. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
appreciate
awesome.
it.
Yeah. So your resume, tell us a little bit. You were offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at several different schools and stops on your way here.
Yeah, it all started with me in 2013 when Cliff Kingsbury got hired there at Texas Tech to be the head coach. I wanted to work with him. He's a guy that I always followed, from my very first memory of college football, it was Cliff Kingsbury, number 16, Texas Tech, throwing it around the yard with Mike Leach as his head coach on the AstroTurf of Jones AT&T Stadium, which was then SBC Global or whatever it was back then. But that's just what I remember. And so I always remember following him. You know, he went to Houston and did a really good job at Houston with the Cougs, and then went to Texas A&M and, you know, developed Johnny Manziel. They won the Heisman Trophy, and then he got the Tech job. And so he was just always the guy that I always followed. And so when he got hired, I was like, that's who I want to work for. That's who I want to learn under. And I was very fortunate enough to be able to be a student coach there with him for 2 years. And him and I just developed a really, really good relationship, and we had a just kind of a cool bond. And I had a couple high school offensive coordinator jobs come open, and I graduated from college there in 2014. And he just told me, he always called me ZK. That was my nickname for him, ZK. He said, ZK, man, I want you to hang on. And he said, give me 7 more months. And he said, I can pay you in 7 months. He said, if you'll volunteer for me for 7 more months, I'm going to pay you, and I'm going to make you the assistant quarterback coach, and you're going to be my right-hand guy. And that was like a no-brainer at that point. I was like, yep, I'm staying. So I ended up, I worked for free for 2 years, 13 and 14, and then I was able to be hired there as the GA assistant quarterback coach in 2015. Did that for 3 years, and, we mentioned all the people I was surrounded with, Patrick Mahomes and Davis Webb and Nick Shimanek, and we had a really good run there offensively. And we played in the Birmingham Bowl and got beat at the last second, kind of on a not a Hail Mary, but a type last deep shot play, kind of got beat there. And I was out of my GA at that point, and I wasn't quite sure where my career was going to go. And I, got on the airplane with my wife. We had been married for, less than a year at that point. And we were both kind of just like, what's next? She's a speech pathologist, and she had a good job. And, I was a GA making not a lot of money, and just kind of figure out, what's next for this career. And, I was fortunate enough to be offered the offensive coordinator job there at Houston Baptist, now Houston Christian, at 26 years old. So I was 26 years old, and be able to go have the opportunity to go run an offense at 26 is very rare in this profession, and especially at a Division I program. And so, me and Emily, we thought about it. We prayed on it. I had a great opportunity to stay at Texas Tech and continue to be, Coach Kingsbury's kind of right-hand man, but not in the role where I'd be really running it and doing it my way. And, I just, after praying on it, thinking it, I felt like it was time to go spread my wings, go do my own thing. And, how my mind kind of worked at that time was, I'm going to make a lot of mistakes in this profession because it's hard. And so let me do it at 26 so I can learn from it, and I'll be better when I'm 33, 34 years old. And that's one of the best decisions I've ever made, because I went there, and it was a tough 3 years. We went 1-10 the first year, went 5-7, broke the school record for wins in a year. We're getting better. And then we felt really, really good going into that 2020 season. We had everybody back, had Bailey Zappe back, had Jarrett Stern. We were about to light it up, and then COVID hit. And it was just one of those crazy years of COVID. And fortunately for us, as terrible as COVID was for the country and for the world, for selfishly for me, it was really special because we were able to play in 4 games. And, at that time, a lot of those games were getting canceled on TV, and so there wasn't a lot of college football going on. Fortunately for us, we actually picked up a game late at Texas Tech, of all schools, and we were like the only game on ESPN that night. And Bailey Zappe just had a night where he threw for 570 yards, and we were 43-point underdogs going into the game. We got beat by 2, and it was kind of like one of those deals where you get to your cell phone after the game, and you've got 500 text messages and Twitter DMs from some big-time people on ESPN and all this stuff, just like, very complimentary. And it's kind of like, I remember telling my wife on the bus driving to the airplane, like, our lives just changed today. And, it was just a couple weeks after that, I got the phone call from Tyson Helton there at Western Kentucky, wanting me to come run the offense over there at up in Bowling Green, and jumped at that opportunity. Again, just heard nothing but great things about the Helton family and how he operates and how he's a family environment kind of guy. And it was a no-brainer for me at the time in my career. And, fortunately for me, it was one of those deals where the transfer portal had kind of opened. And that's when Bailey Zappe and Jarrett Stearns and his brother Josh and Ben Ratzlaff, so we had four transfers came with us up to Bowling Green, and the rest is history from there a little bit, lighting up the scoreboard and breaking the NCAA records and all that stuff. And then got hired back at Texas Tech, which is my hometown, my alma mater. That was another no-brainer decision for me and my family to go there, and 3 years there at the helm, and now I got this opportunity, which extremely grateful for this and excited for the future here at FAU.
Just the beginning, right?
Just the beginning.
Your offenses, we talked about it. They're fast, fun, explosive. How do you balance your style of play?
Yeah, I mean, I like, I'm an aggressive person. That's my mentality. I like to be the aggressor. I like to put the ball in the quarterback's hands. I get to coach a quarterback every day. That's my position. That's what I do. And so whenever I feel very confident in my coaching ability that I can get the quarterback to understand what I want, we can develop that relationship where we're on the same page. And so if I can get the ball in their hands, I feel like we're going to be in a good situation. And so, but I'm aggressive. I do like to play fast. I believe tempo is a great equalizer, especially if you're maybe deficient in some areas. You can, overwhelm the defense a little bit with tempo, get them tired, and they're not thinking right. They're tired. The pass rush isn't good. You can get some guys open, get some scramble drill situations happening. And so I like to play fast, but ultimately I like to play aggressive, and that's kind of what I love that. I hang my hat on that, and I like to probably do some stuff that's a little unconventional. But that's kind of gotten me to where I'm at today. So now clearly, when you talk about the balance of it, you don't want to be dumb either. And, to me, the sign of a great coach is finding what you're good at and what your players are good at and doing that. And so, the last 2 years at Texas Tech, we've kind of shut down the tempo, and we gave the ball to Taj Brooks, who's a back-to-back 1,500-yard rusher, who's a 6th-round draft pick to the Bengals, and is going to have a great career in the NFL. And so and we were able to kind of find that and see that he was a very talented special player and kind of adapt to what we do a little bit. And so, proud of that we were able to, figure that out over the past 2 years too. But looking forward to getting back to that kind of high-tempo, aggressive offense this year.
What's your approach in terms of a winning culture for these guys on and off the field?
Yeah, I mean, we have like a 4-pillar program, if you will, of like kind of what we believe in. And first and foremost, it always starts with like true, genuine love for each other in our building. And so number one for us is be a family. And that's what I believe in, and it's not just something you say, it's something you believe in. And I truly love each and every one of my players and each individual that works for me in my building. Because if I'm a believer that if you have true, genuine love for each other, you're going to go the extra mile for each other. You're not going to disappoint each other. So I tell my players all the time in the fourth quarter, if you love the guy to your right and your left, you're going to play harder for him in the fourth quarter when the game's on the line. If you don't really care about each other, that 3rd and 3 on the fourth quarter to win the game may not matter as much. And so I've built this team off of love and genuine care for each other, and that's just something I really believe in. Number 2 is have fun. I mean, I'm young. I got a lot of energy. I love when I wake up every day, I'm just so excited in that 6-minute drive to campus every morning that I get to be a football coach and to be around, these 18 to 23-year-old men. And it's a lot of fun. And I have a blast every single day. I've got the best job in the world. And I tell them, you get to play college football, guys. Like, this is not many people get this opportunity. So we've got to have fun while we're here. Thirdly, we're going to work hard. And, I'm 34 now, almost said 33. I'm 34 now, and I grew up kind of in like a West Texas old school blue collar mentality deal, So I've got that old school to me a little bit. It's kind of instilled into me my whole life, and so we're gonna work. Nothing's gonna be given to us, but that's not just football. It's everything. We got to work in relationships. We got to work in the training room. We got to work in the academics. We got to work everything we do. We got to work hard. We got to outwork people, and that's the third thing. And then lastly, we're gonna be tough. We have to be tough. We have to be mentally and physically tough. And I tell everybody the physical toughness is easy. We train you for that. My strength staff trains you to armor your body to be ready to take the physical demands of the game. But especially in today's world with social media and everything else, the mental toughness part is even bigger. Being able to battle all the mental side of the game and the negative media and everything that goes with us being a student athlete in 2025. And so we harp on all those 4 things. And so to me, that's how you build a winning culture. But first and foremost, to me, it starts with that first thing is loving each other and having a genuine love and care for each other and being that family atmosphere. And that's what we bring every day.
All those are such strong pillars. And I think you mentioned the mental toughness and mental aspect, not just the game, but life, right? And for so many, whether people are listening as a football fan or just a parent, what is it that with these guys, you're really kind of working on that encouragement and sticking with it on the mental side? It's such a big part of college, right? Let alone an student athlete.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I think whenever you really peel back what a student athlete is, there's so much that's involved in it, you know, because now you have the pressures of the NIL and the money, like how much money can you make your family? You also still have to be a student athlete because you are a student first. You have to still go to school. You have to maintain the right grades. You're getting pulled out on social media by all kinds of people wanting you to do certain stuff and be involved in things. And then you also have the negative that comes to social media when you don't have a great game. Then they're tweeting at you, telling you how bad you are and all that. And so there's so much of that I think that we're talking 18 to 23-year-old guys, like I was saying earlier. And so a lot of these guys haven't been in real like tougher life situations, I guess, at that point. And that's not to say everybody, some clearly have, but just being able to be there for them and to get them to understand like, hey, you have support here. We're here for you when it comes to these things. And again, I use the family part, especially when it comes to all the negative. You have to understand who your family really is. Because there's some people that you may think are your family, but you got to understand how they're talking to you and what are they asking you for, and you know, are they negative after stuff too? Because I don't think that's family, and so I try to encourage my guys that you got to understand who your family is first, and that's who we need to love on, that's who we need to take care of, and those are going to be the ones that bring you along to where that mental toughness part isn't hard. It's hard to battle.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give Coach a quick timeout here. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about family at home for you and also state of college football, a few other things. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Paige Kornblue Show. We have Florida Atlantic University's Hagerty family head football coach, Zach Kittley, with us today. Go Owls.
Go Owls.
We have jumped into several different aspects of the game and FAU football and your history. And we touched upon kind of the state of college football. What do you say to it? It's so fast-paced right now, and you mentioned the NIL, the transfer portal, and how do you keep up with it as a head football coach? Yeah,
I mean, I think it's ever-changing, and it's going to continue to be that way. You know, I'm personally interested to see what does college football especially look like in the next 5 to 10 years. You know, does it even become, you know, an amateur semi-pro league type deal? It'll be interesting to see. But I think it's ever changing, like I said, and you have to adapt, you know, ultimately. And it's changing every year. The rules are changing. The NIL rules are changing. Now you're in revenue sharing where you can't, you know, the school gets X amount of money to pay student athletes, but then NIL is you can't pay certain, but then you kind of can. And then the transfer portal, are we going to do one window? Are we going to do two? And so there's so much that's going on with it that, you know, my philosophy and my mentality is whatever the rule is, let's roll. And you got to roll with it and you got to run with it. Because if you don't, and you're complaining and you're not going to go with what it is, you're going to get left behind. And so, you know, clearly, in my opinion, I think they could clean up a lot of things. You know, I think it kind of started with the transfer portal and the NIL. Clearly, you know, I think they should have really thought about both before they just kind of threw it in there and just opened it up to whatever it can be. You know, I do think there should be limits to a certain extent on what the NIL space looks like. To where, maybe you're not paying a 17-year-old kid $10 million who's never played a snap of college football, and then the transfer portal too. I mean, you know, I understand certain transfer situations and everybody has a different story as well, but being able to openly transfer every 5 to 6 months, you know, I don't think that's good for student athletes in general. And I know it's not good for the game. And I know, you know, us as coaches, we're kind of fighting for that 1 a year transfer portal window. And we think that can hopefully slow down some of the transfers. Because what a lot of people may not know that, you know, again, an old school kind of mentality guy is, you know, you're starting to look up at guys that have been to 4 or 5 different schools, and at some point they're never going to get a degree. And that's the tough part, you know, of that transfer portal, because every time you transfer, all your credits don't transfer to your new institution, and you're going to look up and you're going to be out of eligibility, and you still have 30 hours to go. And so sometimes that's the case, and that's to me the toughest part is when, you know, because I still think, you know, a college education, there's a ton of value in that, and I feel like, you know, sometimes in the world we're living in right now with the transfer portal, that doesn't matter as much. It may be more of like, hey, who's going to pay me the most NIL, and I don't care about the degree. So I'd like to be able to see it get back to where the college education means a ton. And again, the NIL I think is great, but I do think there could be some limits on it for sure.
Day by day, right?
Day by day, absolutely. It could change tomorrow and the next day and the next. So
keep coaching. You mentioned the file you had, the future football coach file that you had on your hard drive, your zip. Tell me about early on. I mean, how early, for those that are just listening, Coach Kittley's pretty tall. How tall are you, Coach?
Yeah, I'm 6'7".
6'7".
Yeah, 6'7", yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad we're not standing up in this one because you would tower over me, over a foot taller than PK here. But in terms of, the sports you played, were you a football player? How did you know, in terms of sports, like getting into coaching, where was that history?
Yeah, I mean, I've grown up around sports my whole life. My dad's been a long time. He's a legendary track and field coach. Been doing it for over 40 years now. He's in every Hall of Fame you can think of. So he's that's kind of all I've ever known was just sports. And I had two older brothers that are, two heroes of mine that I love to death, and they were really, really good high school athletes that I was younger and I looked up to, and I wanted to be just like them. I took their numbers in sports that they wore, and I just, they were my heroes at the time, and I wanted to be like them. And you grew up in a small West Texas community, especially the high school I went to in Wolford Friendship High School, where, Friday night lights is everything. And it's, everybody from the town's there, and it's just part of your world, and grew up doing that. But I played pretty much every sport growing up. I love football. I played quarterback pretty much my whole career, and then I broke my right shoulder and ended up moving to kind of playing both ways, wide receiver and free safety, which I absolutely loved. It's kind of funny. I loved playing defense more than offense in high school, and now I'm an offensive kind of minded guy. But I played basketball clearly. I grew 4 inches from my freshman to my sophomore year, and so I sprouted up really quick. And I've always been tall and lean, but I got really tall and really lean that summer going into my sophomore year. And basketball was kind of an easy avenue for me. I was taller than everybody. I was pretty athletic, so I could rebound and jump and dunk and do all the things. And then clearly, I competed in track and field, just loved everything that's come with that. I grew up with it my whole life. I remember being 3 years old, running around, Abilene Christian University's track and going to all my dad's track meets. And I just, track and field's one of the greatest sports when you watch it, just of unbelievable athleticism and athletes. So I've always loved track and field, but I did a little bit of it all. And so, that all kind of propelled me into knowing I wanted to be a coach. Again, just being able to be around my dad, I think, was super special. And watching him do it at an extremely high level and do it the right way was always really fun for me. And I grew up around winning because my dad was just a winner, and he won national championship and conference championship after every one, and coach of the year. It's like my mom's probably mad. We have no room in the house for any of the trophies because he's got hundreds and hundreds of them. And so that's all I kind of grew up around, was just like knowing like what winning looks like, from watching my dad do it so much. And I always knew I wanted to be a coach, and my first passion was always football. I just love the game of football. Always have. Kind of talked earlier about how, I remember watching Cliff Kingsbury's my first college football memory. Well, my first football memory in general is watching on our old Abilene, Texas box TV, Emmitt Smith for the Dallas Cowboys running touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. That's what I remember. And so I just always loved football. It's the greatest team sport in the world. You got to have 11 people at the same time clicking. And then there's no other sport that has a locker room like that. We have 115 guys on our team, and there's no sport that has 115 people that come from a million different backgrounds that all have to love each other and care about each other. And that's super special to me, and why I love football so much. And I always knew I wanted to be a coach. And then again, when Coach Kingsbury got hired at Tech, I said, let's go with this.
You continue to have quite a team at home, right?
Yes, absolutely. I have the best, for sure.
Yeah. So you have how many kiddos?
I got 3 boys. I got Knox is 6 years old. He'll be 7 here in January. I have Ford, who's 3. He'll be 4 in November. And then my baby Rhodes, he just turned 1 this past month. So we're rolling. We got 3 little ones, and I got the best coach's wife, mom, partner, supporter in the world, in my wife Emily.
Yes, you do. no rest for the weary for you too, right?
Yeah, no.
You don't come home and put your feet up. At night.
No. She's, I'm working right now quite a few hours, getting ready for football, and she's at home, holding down the fort as mom, and she's unbelievable. We've got great kids. Again, Lord's blessed us with 3 healthy young kids that are good boys and for the most part do the right things and help mom out at home. So it makes it a lot easier, when you got great kids that love everything about this, and they love this too. It's really fun. My 3-year-old really loves football. And so, this spring he wanted to wake up with me at 5 a.m. on a Saturday and have to go to bed at 8 o'clock on a Friday night because he wanted to go to practice with dad the next morning. And so stuff like that makes it really fun. And, I've mentioned multiple times that I'm a family first person, and stuff like that's important, I think, too. And so being able to have that support at home, especially from my wife Emily, where she's at home, and the 6-year-old and the 3-year-old are kind of getting to the point where they can kind of take care of themselves, but you got that baby at home too that still needs a lot of loving and caring on, and it's a lot going on for her. So again, I love her to death. She's the best, and so definitely would not be able to do this without her. And ultimately that's why we're here, is because she loved this place. She believed in this place too. And it's kind of cool story that I feel like I should say because it's really cool. Whenever I was here for the interview, our athletic director's wife, Paige, took Emily around town, just kind of show her around while I was interviewing. And Emily just said that she just felt a sense of welcome and home. And she started crying while they were driving around town. And she just said, Zach's going to get this job. This is going to be our new home. And so really cool, to have her support and her feel that this, we can do it. This is where we're supposed to be. God is telling us to be here is really cool. And you kind of peel it all back and you look at the small details of why we're here and where we're at. And again, it's a, she deserves a huge part of all of this that we're going through right now.
I think coaches' wives or husbands, spouses, right, are such a big part of the job.
Oh man, they do so much. And again, I was very fortunate. Again, I talk about my dad all the time because he's the coach, but I could talk probably more about my mom. She did it forever, and at Abilene Christian was a Division II program back then. It had absolutely nothing. And, we would go to Sam's and we would go buy candy and nachos and we would work the concession stand and try to make my dad an extra $150 for the program at the track meets. And I've seen her go through so much just to be a coach's wife. And then she was an elementary educator for years and years and years. And, she's retired now, but I grew up with the best coach's wife ever is my mom, and I think that's been really cool too, just for me and for Emily too, because Emily and my mom now are really, really tight, and they lean on each other for just to talk about the crazy world of college athletics like we're talking about. And so I think that's been another blessing that Emily's had, has been able to lean on my mom too, kind of during this whole we're 8 years that we've been married now process.
Athletic director Brian White always said, because his dad was like yours, so involved in college athletics, high rolls too. And he said, my mom ate half the chicken, of all those chicken banquet dinners, she was half the battle there, and
absolutely
inspiration, right? And support. When you're not thinking football, how do you recharge? What does Coach Kittley, is there any time besides football and family, or family and football?
It's mainly family. It's kind of funny you asked this. Someone was one of my quarterbacks in the meeting day was asking me the exact same thing. Like, hey, what's your hobby outside of here? And I just had to think about it. It's kind of crazy. I don't do much. I really do. I love going home. I love spending time with my 3 boys and with my wife. We don't get a whole lot of time at home, and so when we do, those are precious moments for me. I do like to play golf every now and again. I'm not any good, but I do like to play. But again, that's kind of few and far between when I get a chance to do that. I do like to play the arcade game, Golden Tee, because I do like playing golf, and so that's a fun one for me. But mainly just, if I get an hour here or there, where I can just kind of hang out with, some buddies and just kind of kick it and relax a little bit. That's kind of what we do. But more than anything, I like to go home and see them boys and see my wife.
We're going to toss it to one more break, and we come back. I want to get your locker room message and hoorah for those of us in day-to-day world, and a couple rapid-fire questions for you.
Love it.
Okay, we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Paige Kornblue Show. Florida Atlantic University Hagerty family head football coach Zach Kittley with me on the show. And what would you say? We'll do quick rapid fire for folks to get to know you even better. Your favorite stadium atmosphere outside of Flagler Credit Union Stadium here in Boca?
Oh, that's a great question. I've been fortunate to play in a lot. Oklahoma State's a good time. You know, they're right on your back. That their wall's about 7 yards from the sideline, and they're slamming them paddles against their kind of deal there. Oklahoma State's it's a good place to play.
Your go-to pregame hype song?
Oh man, I really don't listen to music much before games. I kind of like to not think before a game, and so usually what I like to do, especially if there's games on, I'll either watch like College Game Day, and kind of just listen to college football. If we're playing a night game, I'll usually pop one of my buddies' games on my phone and just kind of watch that and try to decompress and not think about the game. So I wouldn't say I have a song. It's more of just kind of watch either College Game Day or watch another game.
So you have a pregame show. I love it. And the best show out there, right?
Exactly. That's right. Yes.
One play you'll never forget.
Oh, man. Slot 22 X slant.
In other words?
Yeah. So that was the play that Bailey Zappe threw a touchdown on to break the Joe Burrow's passing record right here in Flagler Credit Union Stadium in the Boca Bowl.
Awesome. 2021. All right. Coach Kittley's hidden talent.
Hidden talent. I mentioned it earlier. I'm pretty good at golden tee. I can play some golden tee.
One word your players would use to describe you.
Confident.
And your favorite thing about Boca Raton so far?
The people.
The people. Well, I love it. What would you share with everybody in terms of your locker room takeaway message? You know, all of us have good days, bad days, and sometimes we just need a little pep in our step. So as a head football coach, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, wake up every morning with the intent to get better. No matter what's happened before, what happened the day before, you know, again, I can always revert everything to football analogies. And so I tell my guys, you know, as soon as our cleats hit the grass, like no matter what's happened before, we're here together. We're here as a family. There's nothing better than this. And let's make, again, I use the word opportunity a lot. This is an opportunity to go do something that maybe other people don't get to do. And so let's make the most of our opportunities and let's attack it with the intent to get better. And whatever happens after that happens after that.
And go Owls.
And go Owls.
Coach Zach Kittley, thank you so much for your time. Most importantly, it is August, and I know that's few and far between for you. Great luck this season, and we'll be out there watching. So thank you. I'm going to put all your links and tickets, right? Grab some tickets to the game. It's so important, right, for your players and your staff to have folks in that stands. Yeah,
it means the world. I mean, we feed off the people in the stands energy and all that, the band, the fans, everything. We feed off of it. Our players feed off of it. Me as a coach, I feed off of it because I'm a high energy kind of guy, and so the more energy, the more juice that's in that stadium, it's only going to help the Owls keep winning.
Yeah. Coach, thank you so much for your time today. Truly appreciate you jumping on to Inside the Boca Raton Bowl. I know time is few and far between in August.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me again. I mean, the Boca Raton Bowl has been huge for me, and so anytime I can talk about it and love it up, because again, it's a great experience for everybody, and whoever gets to play in the Boca Bowl this year is going to be extremely blessed to be here.
Well, wherever you get to and qualify for, good luck.
Yeah.
Boca Raton Bowl loves Coach Kittley and your history there. So good luck this season. Thank you again. High five.
Appreciate it.
Go Owls.
Go Owls.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'll put all the links to Coach Kittley and FAU football and whatnot on our website. That's BocaRatonBowl.com. Thanks so much for joining us, for listening, for hopefully watching as well. And until next time, everybody, cheers.